So I know hate is a strong word. I don't try to hate things.
Yes.
I don't try to. But anyways, for the purpose of, getting people to click.
Full disclosure, I guess.
Full disclosure.
Clickbait.
We're going to talk about 9 things that we do hate about Irvine, California.
And when we say hate, maybe mildly annoyed with.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I guess it depends on how irritated I am.
Yeah, I guess depending on just what's going on with that particular person that day.
Yeah, or if I'm trying to get my anger and lash out at something else besides myself.
So why not just beat up on Irvine, basically?
Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about now, so stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? I'm Sean Dezahd.
And I'm Courtney Dezahd, and we're with Keller Williams Realty right here in Orange County, California. And if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Orange County, don't forget to press on the subscribe button and don't forget to press on the bell so that you're notified every time we upload new videos, because we upload new videos every week, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, and if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, wow, okay, I love Orange County. I love the weather. I love the glamour. I love the beaches. I just can't wait to go out there, but I don't know what to do. I'm not in the area. And I totally get that. That's why you want to reach out to us, because we're right here. We can be your eyes and ears on the ground, boots on the ground right here. And what you want to do is you want to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.
Or you can reach out to us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back.
Okay, so Courtney, what do you hate about Irvine?
Well, before we talk about what we hate, let's just make it clear.
Well, and it's not a we thing. I mean, I'm probably mildly annoyed, but Courtney hates with a passion. No?
First, let's say we don't hate Irvine. In fact, we love Irvine. I love Irvine. I truly do love Irvine. Yeah.
It's an acquired taste, though.
It is.
Because,
for some people, I don't know. Some
okay.
people love it. Like, they get there the first time they've ever seen it, and they're like, this city is the best. And But for others, it is an acquired taste, and I'm one of those people for sure.
You are.
But I would say I do love Irvine.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, because I remember when we met in college, we both went to UC Irvine. Mm-hmm. So basically, I'm born and raised in Orange County, so I'm going, okay, Irvine's cool. I like it. My mom used to live here and all that stuff, so I had no issues. Yeah. Courtney came from San Diego, and she's like, she couldn't stand
the reason why, let's talk about number 1 on the list. One thing that we hate about Irvine, and that a lot of people, I would say it's probably the main reason that if someone comes to Irvine and they don't like it, is because it's very cookie cutter in many areas. So it's a lot of tract homes, and a lot of the newer tract homes, they've done a good job where they look different and that it does have variety. But I would say the biggest thing that people do not like about Irvine is they say it's a different shade of beige everywhere you go. Yes,
and so obviously if you came home you come home to your subdivision and you're just kind of tired one night, you might pull into the wrong garage.
Oh, sorry, wrong house.
Because looks close enough to your home. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I would say that. So Irvine is known for being very well planned. It's kind of like the king of master plan communities. And I think when you live in Irvine, you get so used to how well planned it is. There's a Target where a Target should be. There's a store. You're like, if there's a specialty grocery store, there it is, right there on the corner. So I think in exchange for this well planned master plan communities, and there's a park on every corner.
Yes,
that's another thing people love. You always see people walking around Irvine. Always around the neighborhoods, because, whether they're walking their dog, just, themselves walking, going with their kids to the park, people are always outside. But in exchange for that well-planned, you do get, in some of the neighborhoods, very, everything looks the same.
Well, and also in these developments, you picture the Brady Bunch. I know we're dating ourselves a little bit here, but you have this grid, for those who don't understand this reference, figure this grid of houses. Okay, your house is right in the middle. There's 8 houses, there's basically 8 houses surrounding you. So privacy, this stuff, because these, these subdivisions, these tract homes, you can kind of feel a little bit everyone's kind of, again, there's a bit of lack of privacy.
Looking at each other. Yeah, for sure. When we lived in Irvine, we could see the neighbor there, see the neighbor there, see the neighbor there. The neighbor could see us. You'd have to definitely cover the blinds if you were getting dressed. Yeah. So
it's just one of those things where you're not going to have ample amounts of space. That's just not really how these, and again, not every neighborhood, but the vast majority of the neighborhoods, you're not having this ample amount of space for sure.
Yeah, and then I would say number 2 on our list, Irvine can also give you kind of the feel of like a police state, like like there's a reason Demolition Man was.
Somebody put me back in the fridge.
Another thing, dating ourselves.
Was filmed there. I mean, other people have compared it to Stepford Wives.
Am I the only one who finds all of this more than a little disturbing?
So Irvine really prides itself, and one of the things that people really love about Irvine, it prides itself as being named the safest city in America by the FBI.
At least 250,000 or more.
Yeah, the population 250,000 or more, 16 years and counting.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, the Irvine Police Department, they don't have much to do, right? Because it's so safe. So you have to follow the rules. Like,
you jaywalk, you pay.
Yes, I've gotten, caught for jaywalking twice. And the police officer was, very, very
irritated,
very mad at me.
Yeah, and if there's a car pulled over, like for speeding or whatever, it's not one police car that's going to be pulling. They're coming back for reinforcements because God only knows what you need to do to make sure that you give that ticket to that person. You better have your backup of about 10 police officers for sure.
Yeah, I remember one time I was going to a gym in Irvine, and there was literally a fire hydrant. A pipe burst or something. And I kid you not, within 20 seconds, there was about a line of 20 police officers.
Actual squad cars with actual police officers
handling this situation.
Yes.
And then that part of the gym was, shut off. You couldn't go through that parking lot, even though there was no water anywhere for about a week. So yeah, it's just
beware. They Irvine pride itself. Again, it's great that obviously it's safe according to these FBI statistics. However, it can be a bit of overkill
for sure. Another thing we hate about Irvine, and this is like, it can be quite irritating when you're hungry, because the parking lots in Irvine can be so crowded, especially around lunchtime, especially if you're in a part of Irvine that's, got a lot of office buildings. And I don't know why they make these, these shopping centers and then they don't have sufficient parking ever.
Well, especially if the shopping centers, if they're offering dining options, that's where it just gets overwhelmed. I mean, and it's not just, it's even less about the office buildings. I'm thinking about a bunch of different
places. It's because people drive from office buildings to these shopping centers for lunch.
Yeah. They're not really necessarily tucked in where the office buildings are as much.
And so they're getting their lunch.
Yeah, and again, the office buildings aren't even that close by. Yeah. Like, I'm thinking about a bunch of different shopping centers.
Yeah.
And again, if you have these grocery stores, you have these restaurants, people fill them up, and there just doesn't seem to be enough parking in these parking lots.
Yeah, and depending on how popular the restaurant is, I remember a couple weeks ago we went and had lunch with a friend of ours, and it was so crowded, and I was late because I couldn't find a parking space. It was just so irritating, and that's just. And then another thing, even though it's not technically on our list, but I just thought of it.
9B.
Is that Irvine, you can never do U-turns. So there's always it's like no U-turn, no U-turn, no U-turn. So if you happen to miss your turn, you will have to drive for about 5 miles. One time I missed my U-turn. It was like I was at the 5. I missed my turn. I had to drive all the way to the 405 to just go on the freeway there.
I don't know about that. I mean,
I am not the only person who said this.
Okay, maybe not a U-turn for 5 miles, but maybe you could make a left in a.
No, it's like these. You can't.
Okay, I'm a bit skeptical. I'm thinking about this.
Well, anyways, that wasn't even on our list. That's beside the point. Number 4 on our list, I would say this goes along with any big city, because Irvine, even though you don't think of it as a big city, but it actually is. I mean, it's
about 300,000 people.
Yeah, 300,000 people. I would say that people aren't like that friendly. I mean, you don't really know your neighbors. It's not like a neighborly place, I would say.
No, I mean, and honestly, maybe if you're that neighborly type of person, and full disclosure, we're not specific. I mean, if we happen to have overly nice neighbors, we're more than happy to interact, but we're not really making huge overtures ourselves personally. But so I guess, I guess we're part of the problem when we're living there. So basically, but you don't find these people like coming up to you and being overtly friendly, basically.
Yeah, it's the same you get in any big city. I mean, people just
How you have your blinders, right?
Yeah,
It's
you
kind
have
of
your
like
blinders on.
you just don't want to deal with it. So
Yeah. So number 5 on our list is, and this is going to sound weird.
yes,
Because Irvine prides itself on the Irvine Unified School District. If you look at the rankings, it's got some of the best rankings in the entire state. But there is a dark side. Some people find that the Irvine Unified School District, it's too stressful. They put too much pressure on the kids. There's too much homework.
Too much.
Anecdotally, with parents that we know that have their kids in these schools have had experiences. For example, our kids have a similar program at a different school that's not in Irvine.
different school district all the way.
Yeah.
All together.
And the amount of homework is it's night and day, like not even close as the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's it's very competitive.
Very.
Or at least let's just put it this way: it's easy to get like caught up in the competition, and so not
or
just
to get lost.
Yeah.
Like you can be an excellent student and you might be like number 100 in your class.
Yeah, it's people are going to Irvine for the school. So obviously on another list, this is like the number 1 pro of Irvine is the schools. However, sometimes again, for some people, it's just too far because they want their kids to have a life, right? Like outside of school. So they want to have be involved in sporting activities or just other hobbies or whatever. And it can be really difficult if you are like on that track for like the AP classes and want to be valedictorian. So it's like it can be really tough to actually do honestly anything other than schoolwork because the competition's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I would say it's not even just a high school. It's also just all school. This is like kindergarten and up.
Yeah, and again, that's the expectation of the parents. They're there for their kids to get some serious education going.
Yeah, I would say that is true, that a lot of it is the parents who are pushing it. So if you are not a parent that wants like the tons and tons of homework, then maybe...
Again, just be aware that your kid may feel, I don't want to say dumber than they are, because they're just like dealing with these like absolute geniuses that are fully committed to doing like the crazy amount of work. So even though in any other school system they'd be like doing awesome, they may almost have the self-esteem issue where they don't feel as smart as they probably are, basically.
Yeah, it's basically like the Ivy Leagues of like education.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's just one of those things to be aware of. And again, we've had also parents move from different school districts to Irvine because they really do want that, especially like let's say once their kids are in high school, they want their kids to be really pushing it. And again, nothing wrong with it. Just be aware that if that's not what you're looking for, if you don't want this ridiculously high level of competition, then Irvine might not be the best place for you.
Yeah. So number 6 on our list is that the Great Park isn't all that great.
Okay. Yeah, we just love the beat on this thing. I mean,
but the reason why I'm saying this is the Orange County Register just the other day. They had an article about the Great Park. They literally put it in parentheses in quotation marks.
Oh gosh, and mock
it. And they were like, another empty promise from the Irvine Great Park. And I'm like, so we're not the only people that say this.
Yes, I mean, yeah, it's like, in a vacuum, it's great. I mean, it's got all these athletic venues. It's huge space, all this stuff, but we were promised something different, and so that's what what's irritating. Because literally, again, this was a little history lesson. This was an Marine air base, a huge one, like one of the major ones in California, and it was decommissioned. And so they were going to turn it, the idea was to turn it into an international airport because it's already right there. It had the buffer zones and it had everything in place, but there was this huge fight between North Orange County and South Orange County, and ultimately South Orange County won. But what was promised to help make that victory happen was that this was going to be Central Park in New York City here, right? Like something absolutely incredible. And it's just not. It just isn't that. And you never now they are getting wild. I mean, they have wild rivers now. Yeah. So that's pretty awesome. So they are again. In a vacuum, it's great. But honestly, what we were promised the moon, right? Because obviously you're turning what would be an international airport, which would have been pretty huge for Orange County to have, into this.
Disappointing.
And again, it's just not that amazing.
Although I will say the homes around the Great Park, I really like.
Yes.
Like, those are great. The actual park, not so great.
Again, not what was promised.
Yeah. Number 7 on our list is that the home prices in Irvine are quite high. And that's obviously because demand for Irvine is very high. I mean,
we get calls all the time from people that what they're calling about is only a handful of cities. And like, for instance, they're calling about Newport Beach. They're calling and Irvine is right there, actually more so than Newport. Like, and again, it's funny because like back in, not that long ago, Irvine's always been there, but it wasn't this in the national, like, consciousness that like this that Irvine. It was always like the more glamorous cities, like, or the ones that were notable, like the Anaheims of the world, or like in the Newport Beaches, Laguna Beaches, that kind of thing, or Huntington Beach for that matter. But then like, but we've just seen this surge of interest in Irvine. I think just people, again, they love what we're bagging on, but they love a lot of these aspects of Irvine. And so again, they're just flocking to it. And so because of all that demand, obviously the prices are, certainly not cheap. So just be aware, like, and again, I will say that because of the high prices and stuff, what we have done is obviously, if you're interested in Irvine, we're more than happy to show you properties in Irvine and, hopefully it fits your needs. But certainly there are cities that are pretty close to Irvine that certainly capture a lot of what Irvine has to offer. But again, it just gives you more options. Either it's different types of homes, possibly a little bit less price homes, depending on what it is. But you just have a little bit more options. So a lot of times people are zeroing in Irvine, but they're finding that a lot of these other cities, like right nearby it, kind of basically take care of the vast majority of what they're looking for, and they end up going with those cities.
So number 8 on our list is that depending on where you are in Irvine can get pretty far east, so it can be quite hot in the summer.
Yeah. So depending on where you are in Irvine, there are the parts of Irvine that are like, let's say, west of the 5, and particularly west of the 405, you got, some amazing weather. But as you go further east, as you go east of the 5 freeway, then you start to get into these more, like, again, the temperature starts to creep up. Again, fantastic weather for the vast majority of the world. It's just that in Orange County, we're very particular. And you will find that in the summer months, you're going to be cranking that AC. So just be aware that your utility bills are going to be on the higher side, specifically in the summer, because again, it does start to cook and it can be more of a pleasant, temperature. It's you're going to be dealing with it.
Yeah. And then last on our list is that Irvine, when you live in Irvine, most likely you're going to have to deal with the homeowners association, and the Irvine Homeowners Association, they can be quite strict. So, you can have issues, depending on what you want to do, mostly with the outside of your home. So
yeah, and again, like some people reach out to us, they want to be in an association, they like, again, some control of keeping the place, the homes pretty tidy and clean and all of that other stuff. Other people say, this is my house. I do not want some sort of oversight beyond, let's say, your normal city oversight. So I don't want like an association, another layer of bureaucracy that's above it. So, and I totally get that. So obviously, if it's important for you to either have an association or not have an association, that's why you got to reach out to us so we can kind of help you find that. Probably kind of checks off those boxes for you. But having said that, Irvine, the vast majority of Irvine, you're going to find yourself in an association. So you just got to be aware that there is that there. Now, again, it's not all bad by any stretch because you have a lot of amenities because of these associations and all these other things. However, what you're going to deal with is there is a bit of oversight where there's some restrictions on what you can do with your home. Like, yes, but particularly the exterior stuff.
Yeah. So that's it. That's our video.
Yeah, and remember, we are licensed realtors in the state of California. So as much as we do love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to buy or sell a house, what you want to do is you want to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.
Or you can reach out to us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back.